What's up, Aries? Thank you so much for being here, you guys. And as always, thank you for checking out these readings. So this week we're going to be using the Crystal Visions Tarot for you guys. So Aries, immediately for me looking at these two, it's being confused about what you need to be doing, not just within family situations or friends, but like work and relationships as well. So from Lay Vampire, Immortal, the consuming family and pressure of peers, and then from Chakra Wisdom, Confusion. Now, when you're looking at confusion, this card is talking about allowing that to happen, not needing an immediate outcome and kind of, allowing yourself to be in a confused state so that you can see the answer a little bit more clearly, but it's going to have directly to do with what you feel like you are obligated to do because of Immortal. Now, Immortal is just reminding you that you are your own person. You get to create your life the way that you choose. But, whatever it is, it feels like you just don't know what you should be doing right now. And you may have too many people saying, well, you should do this, you should do that, and the other thing. But now, confusion. The card at a glance says, when you are in the unknown, it may be little comfort to know that you are safe. Understand that your angels have brought you to this point. You may need more information at this time. Remain still and allow inspiration in. It will come. So even if you're not clear on what you need to be doing with whatever situation you're looking at here. All right, Aries, here we go. Here's your overall for the week. Oh, shit. And it's no wonder. So with the Eight of Cups being the overall, like I said, when it comes to this card, for me, it's more difficult than actually looking at the Ten of Swords. You may know that you need to walk away from something that isn't giving you what you want, but are you doing it? That immediately becomes the question when I see this, especially as the overall. So for this week, it's all about you moving away from the things that are no longer fulfilling you, that you may have spent a lot of time and effort with, but it's just not going to give you what you want. Now, in the past, the Five of Wands, and yeah, like I can understand, right? If you're constantly in situations where you feel like, you're butting heads with other people, you're not being heard, there's constant like petty arguments and fighting, you would eventually get to the point where it's like enough is enough and you need to move on. So in the past, we're looking at conflict. That's still the issue now. And it's really whether or not, you want to continue to keep putting into it. In the present, Aries, why? The Four of Pentacles. Now, this though, in terms of like financial stability, this could absolutely be about you not wanting to give any more assistance or any more money into, this here. When you're talking about a situation that isn't giving you what you want, and then there's this constant arguing and fighting around it, like with the Four of Pentacles, I can understand. I don't want to give any more to this. Now, it could be that you are trying to maintain your position, though, and not willing to give up the battle here. I do like the Five of Wands better than the Five of Swords because there is no intent to hurt, but it can show somebody who's being stubborn and not willing to see, anybody else's point of view. But I'm looking at you in the present moment like you're clinging. Oh, boy. All right. So, yeah, the question of whether or not something is over with, yeah, it's definitely going to be over with. With the Ten of Swords and future conditions, what the hell, you guys? It doesn't surprise me, though. Given all the shit that's going on with the sun being in Aries, it's been crazy. But the Ten of Swords and future conditions, right? It's over and it's a painful ending. But I have to wonder, though, looking at this, if it's going to be more painful for somebody else than you. Because I'm still looking at you trying to move on from this, Are you avoiding a painful ending? I wonder, though, too. Or avoiding, hurting somebody else because you're not willing to give up. You're not willing to give up your position. You're not willing to give anything anymore, But if this is what you were dealing with in the past, then, yeah, that needs to be over with. But are you avoiding it? Your best path to follow, the Nine of Cups. So it is all about what is going to make you ultimately happy? You know, what are your wishes, right? And one of the things I always say with the Nine of Cups is you cannot place your happiness in the hands of others, because they will always fail to create it for you. That is up to you. That is your responsibility, right? But, you know, this being your advice is saying you need to start looking at what you really want. Are you happy with what you have right now? Or is there something more that you're wanting? You know, I mean, especially with the Eight of Cups being the overall here. But I'm still looking at this and these two together. I mean, it's, you know, most people would look at it and say, yeah, well, it's over. You're walking away. Great, right? But the Eight of Cups is the overall. So we're still in the process. I mean, yeah, you have the Ten of Swords in future conditions, but who is it going to be painful for? You know, but regardless here, it's all about what you actually want and what is actually going to make you happy. In your environment, the Knight of Wands. And I like it for you because I don't look at it as that's a bad energy. I think it's perfect for Aries because you guys are constantly on the move. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't understand that. You cannot stay in one situation for too long, because if things start to get stagnant, you get restless, right? It's time to move. It's time to get up and go. And with the Four of Pentacles, you know, and I'm looking at the Five of Wands, whatever it is that you've been fighting for, clearly you're not willing to give up on, and you're still very passionate and driven here with the Knight of Wands being in your environment. Now, you know, yeah, for some of you, you could be dealing with another person here, possibly a fire sign, but I don't know. I feel more so that this is connected to you and not wanting to hold back. There's something else. There's something else. I mean, especially between these two, rather than dealing with this. So you may have two different situations going on. You may have one that is just not going to give you what you want. You're wanting to do something else that's actually going to make you happy, but something is going to have to end. And it's going to be painful. But like I said, is it you, or are you avoiding doing this because you don't want it to be painful for somebody else? But like, even who, it doesn't matter, because whoever you're dealing with the Five of Wands kicking this off, it's just, you know, this constant and butting heads and stupid arguments. And I just don't see you having it anymore. But it's because of this constant energy coming through that you're like, no, I'm not willing to give up my position. I'm not willing to give to this anymore. I know I need to move on. You're right here. It's right there in your environment. You want to go after what's going to make you happy, but this is what throws me off. Your hopes and your fears, the King of Swords. So yeah. When I see a court card show up in either hopes or fears or in the environment, to me it feels more so like a person rather than the energy surrounding you. Now, you know, like I always say when it comes to court cards, though, this may be what you're taking on because of a person in your space. So hoping that, you know, you're being logical and clearly communicating what it is that you actually want, you know, especially if you're dealing with somebody who isn't fulfilling you anymore. Again, because we're looking at the Eight of Cups as an overall. Now, you could definitely be dealing with somebody who is saying this to you, though, too. But what gets me here is I'm looking at you needing to look at what's going to actually make you happy. Now, with the King of Swords, right, we could be talking about air. And I don't so much feel like this is connected to him. I feel like this is you and what you are doing right now and what is going to have to happen in future conditions here, and possibly ending something with someone, but needing to be like very clear about what it is that, you know, you are not happy with and what you're actually wanting to do. And then coming out the Hermit. Wow. Why? See, this is what I'm talking about. Are you avoiding this? Now, you know, when we're talking about what is actually going to make you happy and what you actually want, then yeah, you definitely need to start doing the soul searching. But, you know, like I've always said, when it comes to the Hermit, there is a difference between isolation and solitude. Are you avoiding a painful ending because you don't want to have to deal with how this is going to affect somebody else? You know, I don't so much feel like it's you going to be in pain here because you're coming in with this. You know, I mean, yeah, we could flip the script here, and say somebody is walking away from you and it's going to be painful and you go into hermit mode. But I don't know, because you're being asked to look at what's going to make you happy, you know? So this looks a little specific to me. So let's just talk about the energy first. The King of Pentacles. You know, this may be the person that you're dealing with here. The one that you're butting heads with, right? You're talking about an earth sign possibly, or air. But I feel more so that this is about you needing to be clear. To be clear and to communicate in, you know, a logical way about this, which is not easy to do when you're talking about the Knight of Wands and you being full of passion and wanting to go after things, but being held back by this, right? So now with the King of Pentacles, it could be that, you know, you're looking at things from a practical standpoint. It may have to do with, you know, financial stability and security here, that you're not actually ending something. With the Empress, though, you know, it is about enjoying the abundance that's around you, right? Now, if we're looking at this in specific terms, this could definitely be a situation here where for some of you, you may have a connection somewhere else and you may need to end things with someone. And I say that because you have the Ten of Cups. This to me looks happy, happy. But I look at this as the past. I look at this as the present and you wanting to indulge in all the beautiful abundance that's around you. And then the Ten of Cups, the only way to get to your ultimate happiness here is to end something, and it may have to do with a person, right? Which is possible. And I can understand going into hermit mode and being like, I don't know if I want to do this just yet. Especially if, you know, money is involved. And I say that because of the King of Pentacles showing up and then looking at, you know, the Empress and being able to feel abundant. Is that going to change? You know, is that going to change if you end something and you stop feeding into it? I mean, you're not doing it now with the Four of Pentacles being there, but you're still with it though. And that's my problem. It'd have been different if, you know, these two would have been switched. But I don't see it. Like, I don't see it. I think that some of you may be avoiding ending something that you know needs to be over with. And it's either because you don't want to deal with the pain or you don't want to deal with the other person being in this much pain. It's like, you know, it's going to hurt them. But it's the only way, though, for you to get to your ultimate happiness. And that's the shitty part, looking at it. Wow, Aries. I still see you, though, as like happy with what is waiting for you, because I feel like something is waiting for you here. It's just a matter of, you know, not doing this anymore, you know, walking away and ending this situation. But like I said, you go into hermit mode, and like I can understand, especially if you have a couple of people involved. Whew, boy. And it's no wonder, because I go back to the Oracle cards and Immortal, right? The pressure of family. You know, you may be in a family situation that you're wanting to like move away from, you know, and then you have the Empress there too. But confusion, and then you end up with the Hermit, you know, which is probably the best thing to do, you know, before you actually make the choice to end something. Like, I feel like you've already made that choice in your mind. You know, especially with the King of Swords being here. But it's because there's something else. All right. Let's start with singles. We have true love. But with the Two of Swords being here, it's one of those things where if an offer is being made, it may not be good enough for the other person. But then, you know, there's still the question of whether or not you're accepting an offer here. You know, this one to me has a feeling of hesitation based on the person that you're dealing with. But, you know, with true love being there, it could be the reason why you're not accepting the offer is because, you know, there may be some other circumstances that you're not aware of, possibly, that need to be cleared up. You know, but I don't know, the offer there just doesn't, it always seems iffy to me when I see this card show up. Okay, despite the fact that you have true love, which is fantastic, there is a reason why the offer is not being fully accepted. You're not like full on in it, you know, like, wait a minute, there's some other things that have to be worked out. Now, for couples, okay, the Three of Swords is one of those, oh shit, there's some cheating going on cards, right? And I don't like to create drama that's not there. I mean, most of the people who have personal readings with me know this, but I'm going to tell you what I think. When you're looking at the Three of Swords in retreat, for some of you, like I said, you may need to get the balls here to end a situation and really start committing to a partner, or you're going to have to leave somebody and start a new situation here. Because when you're looking at the Three of Swords, it's really about, somebody who knows that they need to leave a relationship that's not good instead of doing things they shouldn't be doing. Because you have this woman in the background, right? And it's like she's casting this spell, but really she just needs to leave the situation if this is what she's needing or what she's having to deal with, right? Oh, but retreat, that could go either way. And then I look at the Hermit and I think that some of you are thinking about this situation or this situation. What do I need to do? Now, absolutely, this could be what is happening to you. And you may be waiting on somebody here to get the balls to stop messing around and actually commit to you. Woo, Aries, you guys are going to have to tell me what the hell is going on with this one. But this looks like... I feel like this is for the Aries that is dealing with two different situations, especially in terms of relationships, needing to end one and needing to really look at where you really want to be. All right, Aries, sorry about the rain. Weather has been crazy here. But anyway, this, again, is a general reading. It's not going to apply to everybody. And if it's not for you, throw it away. But I do think that I'm talking to some of you who are dealing with two very different situations. Now, we could flip the script on this, though, too. This could be something that is happening to you because of somebody you're dealing with. And I say that because of this being in your environment. Although I do think that this is going to apply to some of you. So what I'm seeing here is, to me, this looks like a situation where you need to walk away from something. Because you kick it off with the Five of Wands, which to me is saying that whatever you're dealing with is just continuously causing you conflict, right? And it's not something that you want to deal with anymore, and there's something that you're not willing to give up on, looking at these two. And I do think that, that Knight of Wands is going to be about you being passionate, being driven. Something else is waiting for you. There's something else that you have a passion and drive for. But whatever you're dealing with right now is just not giving you what you want. Now, looking at the Ten of Swords, like I said, it would have been different had these two been flipped, but it's like something needs to end, and it may have to end in a really difficult way. But with the Eight of Cups being the overall, though, do you actually do it? And then with the Hermit, no. And it makes sense to me that you kind of go here, because the feeling that I get around the King of Swords is like you need to come from a place of absolute clarity when it comes to having to explain why you are ending a situation. The reason why I say that is because you've got Immortal in confusion, right? So if we're talking about the pressure of family or peers or friends or lovers even, it's one of those things where you're not sure on how to move forward on this situation, which makes sense with everything that you have going on, because you're being asked to look at what is really going to make you happy with the Nine of Cups. What do you really want? And clearly the conflict of the Five of Wands is not something you want to continuously deal with. Now, as far as the clarifiers, this to me looks like a very specific kind of situation. For some of you, you may be dealing with a couple of different people, like I said, looking at the King of Swords and the King of Pentacles, but with the Empress in between, the way that I look at clarifiers is past, present, future, how it's affecting the outcome. So if you're looking at these two, to me it looks like this is the person that you're having conflict with. But are you not walking away from this because of financial issues, because of it being the King of Pentacles though too, right? And then you have the Empress, and you have these two tied together in your environment. wanting to indulge in something exciting, something that you have a passion for, not willing to give up on, and not willing to give in as far as what you're dealing with right now in terms of conflict and what you know you need to walk away from. You're like trapped. And then looking at the Ten of Cups and the Ten of Swords, you know, to me that's shitty. It's like something needs to end in a really difficult way for you to get to your overall happiness. You know, but like I said, with the Hermit being the outcome on this, do you actually do it? You know, and then looking at these three, I don't think so. You know, but the Hermit may be the best thing for you right now if this is the situation you're dealing with. Needing to really do the deep soul searching. You know, but like I said, there's a difference between isolation and solitude. You know, you don't want to isolate yourself from a situation that you know is causing you conflict. And, you know, as far as solitude goes, yeah, that the whole purpose of that is to do, you know, those bigger questions, right? To ask those bigger questions when it comes to your absolute overall happiness here, you know, especially within family situations. Now, as far as relationships, so for those of you who are single, true love is fantastic, but with the Two of Swords, to me, there's a reason why the offer doesn't seem good enough, and there may be something else that needs to be cleared up. You know, because if it was true love, there wouldn't be any hesitation on accepting an offer. And when I look at this, you're like, you know, and is it because something hasn't been dealt with? There isn't enough information that, you know, you need to make the choice here to accept the offer. It throws me off. I would ask questions. If you have somebody that is wanting to offer you something, don't be so quick to accept it because you feel like it's true love if there are other things happening that they have not dealt with, you know, and the same thing goes for you, right? Now, for those of you who are in a relationship, retreat and the Three of Swords, yeah. You know, this, and like I said, this isn't going to be for everybody, but for some of you who are in a relationship right now, you're either needing to get the balls to move on to somebody else and end a relationship or just end everything completely here. But we're looking at retreat. So with retreat, it may be that you need to actually pick one. That or the other person needs to do this, and then you need to spend some time with them figuring out why there was this situation here where somebody was doing something that they were not supposed to be doing. And that's basically it. And like I said, I don't like creating drama that's not there, but everything that I'm seeing here to me is saying that somebody has got to end something.